Good afternoon, this is RFC Maki speaking. I am here presenting you yet the latest in my online battle flight reports for the game Birds of Steel, played on the Xbox 360. These games are all played online, so they're played against a series of virtual players as well as real-life players. In this series, I'm attempting to document my ability to try to improve my dogfighting abilities as best I can. And most recently, I've been trying to earn the third skin for the Bf110. That skin is earned by killing 30 players online. This game, I think at this point, I had earned 27 player kills out of 30 and was striving for the final 3. I always play the game in cockpit mode. So in this case here I am launched into the cockpit. And as you may have seen in my other videos, I have launched slowly and then attempted to circle my airfield in order to gain altitude and speed. You may have noticed from the external shots that I had committed a serious error that I did not catch at the time, and I'm a little surprised that it didn't kill me, but this error was that I had left the landing flaps down, or the takeoff flaps down, in down position, and typically what that does in the Bf110 is it prevents you from gaining enough velocity to do anything, and I left them on for quite a while before I discovered what the problem was. So here I had still managed to leave the combat flaps down, heading towards the middle of the field. Now in sim mode, which is what this game is played in, I had left the map on, so quickly checking my map revealed that there was something going on back at my home base. Somebody had bombed the home base, and so here I am attempting to stalk and go after whoever that was at the home base. I'm finding that the Bf110 is definitely not meant to get involved in a furball in the middle of the field. Often that gets dangerous because you present yourself as a target for letting people get on your tail. And one good strategy for people trying to mess with the Bf110 is to stick close to your own home base and see if you can't try to defend that and go after those planes that are after your home base. This plane here that had gone after my home base, that had bombed it, managed to climb very high and to turn. Now I was not able to climb with this guy. You can see my nose dropping a little bit there, and he was still very, very high. I went after him, hoping that he would drop his nose back down. Recall again that my combat flaps is still on, so my speed isn't what it ought to be, but even this guy was well above my ability to catch up to him. He was outpacing me, and though I went after him, I decided that I was not going to catch this guy, and he was leading me essentially back into the middle of the field there. You can see a number of the planes, and so I realized that I was not going to be in the best position to chase that guy. I attempted to track him a little bit, but not in the best position to chase that guy, so I went keeping an eye open for other targets. Now, it was at some point here I did manage to remember to drop the flaps back down again. I don't exactly remember where that happened. I did catch that I was going a little bit slower than I ought to be. So here I've given up on that target and am diving down, looking at another set of targets. So rotating, keeping these planes in view. One attempt here is to try to see if I can't get that plane to catch up to them. Often you can catch up to them while they're turning, and so I'm working on that, but this guy is just a little bit too far away from me. Somebody flew over the top of me there. Don't know who that was. So with all that turning, I'm losing a lot of velocity, so I dove down, hoping to pick up some speed, and finding a number of other planes around, but I just can't raise up the nose to go after them. So here it's a half turn, half arch turn in order to catch up to this guy, rotating in anticipation of having him here. And I took 1 or 2 shots just on the possibility that I could reach him. The nose cannons, this is a Spitfire there, the nose cannons of the Bf109 fire straight, so you don't have to worry about convergence. They arc a little bit and then drop, but you don't have to worry about convergence. You can take a few extra shots long. That guy turned sharper than I was able to turn. At this point my velocity is very slow. So I decided to head back towards my own airfield to pick up some speed. I'm switching here to the external view because I've got a plane behind me, looking to see if I can use the tail gunners to wipe the guy out. So headed back towards my own airbase in an attempt to pick up speed, and again using my tail gunner to check some shots there. The AI in the Gladiator there peeled away from me, so I did not need to use the machine guns. I've noted in other videos with other planes that those AI, especially the Gladiators, are very difficult to get off your tail. But the one perk of having the tail gunner is if you shoot at them enough, even if you don't hit them, you can often get them to leave you alone afterwards. So it is worth switching to your tail gunner view. With the current setting I have it in this view, it takes me 3 different clicks to get to the tail gunner view straight, so there's like a little weird delay between shooting and the tail gunner view. And here I am headed back towards the middle of the field again, seeing if I can't spot an enemy plane. So far, no luck, no dice shooting at or hitting anybody. But I am attempting to gain some speed to see who it is I can go after. The camera that I'm using, which is my iPad, has some trouble. Either it washes out the sky in front of me, so it makes it difficult to see who I'm chasing after, or it darkens the cockpit a little bit too much down there, and you can't really see the dials. The contrast is much less stark in the game I'm playing. Now you can see a plane down there to my lower left. This is a P-38. It had just blown up one of my planes, and this is an enemy plane, a P-38. I'm grateful to this player because he painted his plane bright red. I'd seen him a few times, and some long-distance shots there. Attempted to get him. He curves back in, and I was able to hit him with my nose cannons. So the P-38 had lost a lot of velocity. It was traveling very slow, and here, just outside the camera's view, he smacks into the water, giving me my first player kill. This would be player kill number 28 out of my total of 30. Having hit him, then I turn and head back towards my own airfield, and detecting that there are 2 planes following along behind me. There is a glitch apparently in this cannon view. So in the replays, the cannon is firing way off in the middle of nowhere, but in actuality, I'm controlling that cannon. So somebody is firing at me right there. In real life, the cannon is actually aiming at the bad guys. Now, this was clearly a state of mistaken identity. Somebody is shooting at the other person, and I wasn't sure who was what. This guy was following me pretty tightly, so I was firing at him, trying to get him off my tail. I tried to hit him, but I did not manage to hit him. He fired back at me a little bit. As it turned out, when he pulled away, I began to realize that was in fact a Bf110, and he was an ally shooting at me, and I was shooting at him, so thank God both of us sucked at our ability to shoot. He did have an enemy on his tail, and I don't know who that was, but thank goodness neither one of us hit each other. So here I am trying to switch around to the Gladiator on his tail, take a few shots at that guy, and am not really doing very well. It's just a little bit out of my range to be able to hit, but I figured it wasn't that big a deal to try to go after him. The AI pulled up. I tried to go up a little bit, but just did not have the energy or velocity to follow him, so I reversed, hoping maybe to catch the AI on the other side. There again, checking the map, there was check, I guess, my 6 to make sure nobody's on me, and those 2 planes are after each other, not after me. So heading back towards my own base, I noticed there was also an enemy plane attacking at my own base. So a quick check of the 6 again. Nobody is on me. They're after each other. Nobody's on me, so I'm safe in that way. But I'm heading down to my own base because the AI, the map suggested that there was an enemy plane at my own base. You can see 2 planes there, one heading to the left and one heading to the right. So I drop my nose for a little bit of velocity and pick out the plane that appears to be the enemy. It looks to be a Spitfire Mark 16. So it has the rounded wings, but they're sort of flat and cut off at the end. This guy was traveling really slow. I can't believe my 110 sped up on as quick as it did. And I did a quick shot and tried not to run into him. My shots hit his oil tank, and as I turned around to go see if I could come back for more shots, his plane crashed into the ground and got credit for the 2nd player kill. So that was 29 kills out of the 30 I needed. It was at this point that the game ended. I think the enemy killed one last plane on our side, and the game ended right here.